Hey guys, how's it going? So I'm just trying to get my camera here. Hey, how's it going? So I am doing something a little different for my talking. Instead of being on the treadmill, my phone is charging, so I had to find a different spot to kind of come on and talk. And I'm not used to just talking to the camera without actually doing something, so it feels sort of uncomfortable. Because at least like when I do a treadmill talk, I'm moving. So it kind of feels weird to just sit here and talk to the camera. But there was a video that I came across today of Gary Vee, and he was talking about getting on in front of a camera and talking about something that you suck at. So as you can tell, I'm a little uncomfortable talking to the camera. That's one thing that I'm not great at. I didn't write that down. I actually have a list of 10 things that I came up with that I'm not great at. And I think that was actually like a kind of cool prompt. And I decided, why not? I'm going to pop on here and I'm going to talk about some things that I'm not that great at. And it's good self-reflection. So yeah, one thing that I am not good at is talking into this camera. I have gotten slightly better with the idea of recording myself, and typically like when I am doing a lot of talking, I have gotten comfortable or more comfortable, I guess, with getting on, but being on the treadmill and like moving. So this just sitting here, feels a little awkward. So I'm like fidgety, and normally I talk with my hands, but sitting here is weird. And also like another part to that is having other people around when I'm trying to record something. It is so embarrassing and like feels really weird. So like I just happened to look over because I thought like one of the kids or somebody, my husband or somebody, like walked into the room. And then if something like that were to happen, I would probably turn 100,000 shades of red, because it's embarrassing for somebody to like listen to me talk about whatever it is that I'm talking about. So like even when I do my treadmill talks, it's usually when like no one's around, because it feels awkward to like talk to the camera. It feels awkward for me to be doing this like here by like with myself, and then let alone if someone else is around. It is just like awkward. But anyway, so I wanted to take Gary Vee's prompt and do something with it. So I decided to write down 10 things that I'm not great at or that I suck at. And it was some self-reflection. So I have it here and I'll go over it. So the first thing that I could come up with is that I am really terrible at sticking to something. So what I wrote down is like dieting or better eating habits. There are so many times where I'm like, I'm gonna try to eat better. What is all this running doing for me if I'm not eating great? And one thing that I absolutely love is pizza and French fries and Diet Coke. So those are 3 things that I love, but collectively, like I like them, at the same time. So like one thing that I'm really, really bad at is sticking to like good eating habits. The other thing that I'm really bad at is sticking to like a hobby. So for instance, even like in this journey, there are so many times where I'm ready to just like throw in the towel and be like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. The social media part of it has been really hard for me, because I'm not a big fan of posting like a lot of information about me personally. So I have this kind of weird love-hate relationship with social media. I want to do it because I think it's fun. And I enjoy it. I enjoy being in this space and having fun, being creative and like being able to do this. But at the other part, I'm like pulled to just like impulsively want to delete it all and like not share. So that's kind of like, it's been a weird, it's been kind of hard because there are days, and I haven't been posting a lot lately because I'm sort of in that mind space. And a lot of times in the past, when I decided that I didn't want to stick with something for whatever reason, I would just stop. So a few years ago, I started making jewelry, and I bought all of this jewelry making stuff. And for some reason, I just decided to stop. And I had been making like jewelry for years. I enjoyed making jewelry. It was just something that I've done since high school. And I always enjoyed putting things together, making bracelets, necklaces, and stuff like that. But this time I figured instead of like using beads and stuff, I wanted to buy all sterling silver stuff. And I actually wanted to sell it. So I started making things, and I started an Etsy store. I started like posting it to like a Facebook, I think I had Facebook, where I would post it. And then like, and I actually sold like quite a few pieces. And then I just stopped. I was like, okay, like that was it. Something got in my head, or whatever it was, and I just stopped doing it. And I had all of this beautiful pieces that I never did anything with it. And who even knows where it is now. And I spent decent money on it to start doing it. But for some reason, I just decided to stop. So that was like one hobby. I've always wanted to write. I always have this idea of like a dream, not a dream job, but like just something where I want to write. And I don't know what I want to write specifically, but I think I'd like to write books. And it's always been sort of like a dream of mine to be an author. And when I first had my daughter, I started blogging. And then I stopped, and I just kind of was like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. And I deleted everything. I don't even know if I have any of like, I would type them out on Word and then like upload them to like my blogging platform or whatever. And I don't even know if I have those. I have absolutely no idea. I might have them still in my archives, or I may have. I feel like out of impulse, I deleted everything. So I'm not even sure if I have them still on my computer. This here, running, is a hobby that I enjoy. And it's one of those hobbies that like, I'll do it and then I'll stop for a little while, but then I'll do it again and then I'll stop for a little while. I think that's just kind of true of exercise in general. I think a lot of people face that, where it's like you go through these periods where it's like you exercise and then you don't, and then you exercise and you don't. Or, I mean, maybe there are people who just exercise every day and they don't even think twice about it and they continue. But for me, running has been something that I've done for a long time, and I kind of do it and then I don't do it, and then, you know, I kind of bounce back and forth. This particular journey, I started in May, and I think because I'm marathon training, I'm like sticking to it, because I know years ago I decided to sign up for a marathon and did not train, and that was not a great idea. But I was running a lot back then. I didn't specifically run to train for a marathon. So even though like I had done plenty of half marathons, 5Ks, 10Ks, and I was just running in between all these different miles, I didn't get past like that half marathon point. So like 13 miles was like my longest distance. And I was like pretty fit back then. So when I signed up for it, I didn't train for it, and I still decided to do it. And I finished it, and I wasn't like in a lot of pain, and I wasn't like suffering through it. Lots have changed since then. I'm a mom. My body has completely changed. I'm a little bit older. I had a lot of weight gain since having kids, and I had not taken off that weight. So it's been a lot harder, you know, to get back into the running journey. And like marathon training, like I know I have to train. I'm not just gonna go and run 26 miles like I did years ago and feel okay with that. I don't want to hurt myself. So I'm trying to be smart about it, and it's hard. It's actually been like really difficult. Once those miles increase, it has been progressively harder. And with that progressive hard like challenge, as there's a lot of times where I'm like, I don't want to do this, but I'm not quitting on myself, because I have goals, and I'm actually like, I'm trying to stick to those goals. I modify my training sometimes. So like instead of, especially recently, it's really hard sometimes in the middle of the week to find time to run 7 or 8 miles. I work, we have kids, like there's a lot going on in life. So sometimes I can't follow the exact schedule. So I've been modifying. So like instead of having Monday as a rest day, sometimes I run on Monday, or, you know, I do my longer week runs. You know, like today's a Friday, so I'm going to be doing a longer run today instead of it being on Wednesday. So I've been modifying, but I'm trying to like at least run all of the miles for that week. Like if I'm supposed to run 22 miles in that given week, however the breakdown is, I've been trying to just like make sure I get those 22 miles in. So I've been sticking to that, but the social media part of it and posting and sharing my journey has been tough. That one has been a really tough challenge, and I'm still here, but I'm dealing with something. So like I'm dealing with that pull and like that tug of, do I want to still do this and share? Even though I'm having fun with it, it's just like jewelry and blogging. Like I have fun with these things, and then for some reason I get in my head and I just decide to like delete everything and it never happened and move on from it. But then like I have this like sadness, and I'm like, gosh, I wonder what could have happened if I continued. Like I wonder if I continued selling jewelry for I started I think 6 years ago. If I had continued in 6 years, what type of progress could I have made? If I continued blogging, what progress could I have made? What could I have learned from it? I learned that I don't want to just always give up. And I think that that's where I am right now. Like, I don't want to just delete the accounts and never like just be like, oh, I'm done with it. So I'm here. Just there's a reason why I haven't been posting as much. There's some social media stuff, like all that negativity and stuff like that, but I've moved on from that. It's more of now like that weird tug of war with myself. But I am proud of myself that I'm still here, and I am proud of myself that I am still trying to pursue this. I just have to get over that hump and give myself that chance to not just delete everything, and give my chance to like push forward. That's the challenging part, and that's where I am right now. So number 1 was sticking to something. Number 2 is patience. I think I'm patient, but then I'm put in positions where I realize how not patient I am. I don't have a lot of patience, and that's something that I'm not great at. Like just in general, I get frustrated like kind of easily if something's not working to the way that I want it. I've realized this with my kids especially, and I think that's true, I'm sure, of a lot of people. But patience, like I'm trying to learn how to just be patient, and like not snap and not flip out like immediately. And that's not an easy one. It's been a challenge. But I have been better about noticing like, I'm not being patient right now. And trying to like reevaluate in that moment to like, okay, this is a lesson. I need to breathe. I need 5 minutes. I need to whatever it is. And I've gotten a little bit better at it. Like I've gotten better at recognizing those moments where I know I'm lacking patience. I haven't perfected it, but at least I'm noticing it. Where I know a lot of people who are not patient and they don't recognize it. And I'm trying to at least recognize it and, work on it. So that's number 2. Number 3 is saying no. I have a really hard time saying no. I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm the worst person in the world if I say no to something or whatever. I have a really hard time saying no. It's a really hard one for me. I suck at saying no. I always want to make people happy. I hate to see people disappointed. That one's hard. I have always wanted to be the person who, and not for any reason. Like, I don't want anything in return. I just don't want to see somebody disappointed or somebody have to figure something out because I wasn't able to help them. I just always want to be able to help. And I always want to be able to see a smile on someone's face. And knowing that I was able to help them makes me happy. However, I also know that I cannot always say yes. And sometimes saying yes causes me frustration because I'm like, oh boy, I put myself in a situation now where I have to figure out how to compensate for that, whatever it is. And that has been challenging for me to be able to sit down and say, no, I can't. I cannot help with this thing or this project, or take on an additional assignment, or take on additional responsibilities. It's hard. It's been really, really hard. And I think having children has been sort of the point where I was like, wow, I have a lot going on in my life. I can't take on additional stuff, where like years past, I was able to do things. And I felt really good about being able to help out in certain ways. And that's in my own personal life, at work, like whatever. But I was able to take on a little bit more responsibility before, because my life was not so, I didn't have so many responsibilities. Now I have a lot of responsibilities. So I still have this like yearning to want to help, but at the same time, I also have to be able to practice saying no and sticking to it. And that's been hard. That's a real challenge for me. Maybe I'm sure I'm a people pleaser. Like, I want people to be happy. And saying no, I know causes them discomfort or causes them a challenge. And it's really, really hard when I know that they have to face that. But at the same time, I also know my limits, and I have to respect my own limits as well. And that's hard. Number 4 has been time management. I wrote in here, world's, like I circled it or whatever. World's best procrastinator. I am a procrastinator. I will wait till last minute, and I will use the excuse that I work best under pressure. And I do, because I know something has to get done. But I also end up being frustrated and like, because I know that I have to get something done. So like forever, when I was in school, for instance, I would wait until last minute to do a project, and I would spend all day and all night making sure it got done. And that's the thing, is I always knew it would get done. So like I would always have this confidence in myself to be like, whatever, I'll just get it done last minute. But it never came without frustration. I'd be like, anxious and, oh my God. But I'm not great at time management. Within work, like I know like in my career, I know what needs to get done at any given time. So like I have a little bit of a better sense of time management and scheduling myself, like with working stuff. But like in life, I'll be like, oh, I know I have this particular event, birthday parties, for instance, right? I'm notorious for knowing about a birthday party for months. And you would think that I personally would think that like, if I know about something, I could go and I could buy the birthday gift, and I could buy the card, or I could withdraw the money or get the gift card, or whatever the case is, wrap it nicely, have it sit there, be ready, so that way the day comes, we can all leave the house, get the gift, bring it to the party. Like In my perfect world, like that sounds amazing. That sounds so amazing, but it never happens. It never happens. It's always, ooh, we have a birthday party this weekend. Oh yeah, that's right. We have this birthday party coming up. I didn't get a birthday gift. Okay, well, whatever. We'll go that morning. And it always is like that. Oh, 2 o'clock is the birthday party. I'm leaving the house at 1:30 and I'm stopping at CVS or Target or wherever and picking something up and wrapping it up in the car and writing love our family. Every time, every single time. For years, I have wanted to be the person who starts Christmas shopping in June and like have all that time to buy all the gifts and all that stuff. Nope, it does not ever happen that way. The week of Christmas, I'm usually like, oh my gosh, frantic trying to figure out what are we getting for this person? What are we getting for this person? What are the kids getting? And all that stuff. And then I'm online, like shopping, Amazon, overnight delivery, because Christmas Eve is coming up and I have to have stuff ready and like so I can wrap it. And yeah, most of the time, Christmas Eve, like I'm up until 2 o'clock in the morning wrapping stuff. And it happens it's always like that. If we're having a party at the house, like I'm always the day before the party, like doing all my groceries, doing all of the decorating, doing all of the this, that, and the other thing, whatever, cleaning the house, and I'm frantic. Like I'm a lunatic, right? Like I'm an absolute lunatic, like cleaning the baseboards at 2 o'clock in the morning because, you know, we all know that when we have company, everybody's coming over to look at the baseboards. I know it. They're going to take a Q-tip and they're going to be like, oh, does she clean her baseboards, right? Like, weird stuff like that, but I always wait till last minute to do it. Like, oh my gosh, I'm terrible. I'm terrible at time management. World's best procrastinator. World's worst time manager. So that leads me to number 5 is scheduling. I suck at scheduling. I'm terrible at scheduling things. I have good intentions always. I buy calendars. I hang them up on the fridge. I get the invites. Everybody sends me the invites. I have them hanging on a little magnet on my refrigerator. Yay, they're there. And you think I look at them. I'm awful at it. I'm terrible at scheduling things. And that I think goes hand in hand with the time management, but I'm really, really bad at it. Like I'm really, really bad at it. Next is waking up early. I have good intentions where I'm like, I am going to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I think 5 o'clock is a great place. Like I think 5 o'clock, and like, again, my little world that I'm like, well, if I could be the best version of myself, what could I do to make things better for myself? Waking up early would be one of them. And I think 5 o'clock is like that beautiful space where like I could, if I got up at 5 o'clock every morning, I could get a lot done. Like I could do the laundry, I could do the dishes, I could get the kids situated in the morning, I could get myself situated. There's a lot of things. I could exercise in the morning. I don't love exercising at night. And I think I may have to start liking it because I keep finding myself like that's the time where I can actually focus and like get a run in. But like, I also think on the flip side, if I woke up earlier, I could do the same thing. Like I probably like it might be hard. I know in the beginning it's hard. Like, oh my gosh, drag myself out of bed, put my workout clothes on and like, you know, get on the treadmill or do my workout, whatever. I know that that's hard and you're like, you know, zombie onto the treadmill and like, oh gosh, you know, I know it's hard to do that. But like, I bet you, and I know because I've done it. I have done it a couple times where like drag myself out of bed, and because I have something else going on that morning or that day, I really want to get my workout in or my run in. So like I'm over there like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, like dragging my ass onto the treadmill and getting my workout done, right? And then like by that first mile, I'm like, yeah, you know, I got so much energy. And then I have energy for the rest of the day. And I feel great and I feel accomplished, right? On the flip side, I don't feel that same feeling at nighttime because I'm exhausted and I really should be in bed. But then here I am climbing on the treadmill at 11 o'clock at night, trying to get my run in, however long it is, an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is. And now I have a second wind. I got to shower. I got to do all the things. And now I'm not in bed until 1 o'clock. And then it's the same cycle for the next day. Not up again until 7:30, right? And it's just a vicious cycle. So I have this great idea that I'd love to be up at 5. I think at 5 o'clock, that's great. I know there's like a lot of motivational speakers and people I listen to who are like 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock ish, a little pushing it. It's pushing it a little bit. Maybe if I went to bed at 9, maybe I could get out of bed at 4. But 9 o'clock, I still feel like 9 o'clock's too early. Like sometimes my kids aren't in bed until 9. And maybe I need to get into the habit. Like I think in that world where I'm like, what could I do to be the best version of myself? I think that world, I think it would be nice if like the kids went to bed and then I went to bed, or like rested for like a half an hour, just for like some me time, some quiet time, or just even went to bed and like laid in bed, read a book. Oh man, I always think about like how nice it would be to just like be done for the night, like close down the house, go into bed and read a book. And you know, I've done that in the past and I love when I fall asleep reading a book. It's like such a nice way to fall asleep. But anyway, waking up early is something that I would love to do and I suck at that. 7 is not feeling overwhelmed, and I've already gone through all of these different things on my 10 things I suck at so far. And I'm pretty sure you can see why I feel overwhelmed all the time, because there's so much to do and I'm not giving myself the time and the correct time to do it. It's always, I think, hand in hand, procrastination. So World's Best Procrastinator also holds hands with feeling overwhelmed. I really think that they work hand in hand together. So I think I know my answer. Like I figured it out as I'm reading this and talking. Like I figured out my answer. I really have to get better at time management and all of this stuff. And then I bet you that if I actually focused on these things for 90 days, I think 90 days is like a good sweet spot where it's like you're in it for a long enough period of time that like a change could be made and like you could stick with it. But I can almost guarantee that if I like stuck with it, where I like planned my time and I scheduled it and I did things like with good time management and didn't procrastinate, I bet you my feeling of overwhelm would like dissipate. Number 8 is I suck at starting my dream or what I dream about. So I had mentioned earlier that like a dream of mine is to be an author. I think about it all the time. I think about how much I love to just sit down and like write. I love to physically write in a notebook. But I also really like to type. And I think about it all the time, like how much I would love to like sit down and whether it's writing in a notebook or typing on a computer, like becoming an author. That is something I have dreamt about for years. And why I don't, it's a great question. I have no idea. I can start all of these things. And I think one of my, maybe just thinking it through now, I think one of the biggest challenges is sticking to it. And I don't want to start this, like I love the idea of being an author, and I'm so afraid to start it only to feel like I'm gonna fail myself at it. That sounds so bad. But I really suck at that. I've been dreaming about being an author for years. I have so many ideas of what I would like to write about. I mean, I've written them down. I have tons and tons and tons and tons of ideas of what I'd like to write about. And I just don't. And it makes me sad actually, because I really should. Number 9, overplaying my role in people's lives. Like, I have a tendency to do that. I think there's other people, I'm sure, who feel it this way. You think you're more important to people than you actually are. And I really suck at realizing, like, I am not as important to people as I like to think I am. And that's okay. But it's something I suck at. So, you know, sometimes it's like, oh, you know, I don't know. I don't know how to put it, but sometimes I think I'm more important than I am, and that's okay. Um, Realizing that, and I've realized that a lot more this year. I think I've done a lot more soul searching and self reflection this year than I have ever done in the past. And I don't know if it's because I'm going to be 40 in February and I'm trying to like, I'm excited about being 40. I was actually just asked this question the other day, like, how do you feel about it? And actually, I've been asked this multiple times recently. Like, how do you feel about becoming 40? And I'm like, well, first of all, it's just a number. And there's nothing I can do about it. There's literally nothing I can do about it. Um, the other thing that I've kind of come into a mindset is that time is made up. Like, somebody years ago decided to make up time. So theoretically, if prior to us calculating time and age, I wouldn't like if we never discussed time and age or anything like that, I'd have no idea how old I was. So, like, I know that this is sort of like a man-made thing. Um, so time, like age is literally, it's just a number that somebody made up. Um, how I feel, like I guess if we're going to calculate time and age, I feel great. I feel awesome. I have like this amazing feeling about life and like I mean I could go on to into this one for a while. So I'm not going to do that because I'm already at like 31 minutes talking about this. Um but over this last year I've done a lot of soul searching, self like healing, learning about myself and my thoughts and why do I feel certain ways and why do I think certain ways, and trying to really hone into that like on a psychological aspect. Um, so I've realized like sort of stepped back and watched sort of things unfold, patterns, repeated behavior, repeated patterns, and it's ultimately made me realize that like I've overplayed my role in other people's lives. And I think it all has, like, some of it has to do with lack of being able to set boundaries, lack of being able to say no. Um, and even though earlier I had mentioned, like, I don't, if I'm trying to help somebody, I'm not looking for anything out of it. But I also think that there is some level of expectation. Like, if I'm treating you a certain way, like, I hope that you treat me the same way. And sometimes we really have to realize that not everybody is going to treat you the same way that you treat them. Um, and that's been sort of a tough one to like really truly grasp. But it's a good life lesson. And I think once I realize, when I realize stuff like that, it actually gives me the freedom to move forward in my life and do the things that I want to do, um, without fear of judgment and fear. Like there's a lot that I think goes into that. Um, and I'm not sure if like what I'm saying is like the right way that I'm trying to say it, but basically, like when you when I've learned that I can like release that sort of like feeling, it's actually been sort of, it's been freeing. And then last thing on my list is sticking up for myself or getting my point across without feeling bad about it. I if I believe in something and I'm trying to get my point across, sometimes I get flustered. And especially when I'm like really passionate about something, I get very emotional. So I'll start like, it's a very uncomfortable feeling if I feel like I'm trying to get my point across. And this, again, it can be in my professional career or in life, my personal life. If I'm trying to like get something across, and as this has been especially lately, where I'm trying to practice all of these new things, saying no, setting boundaries, all of this stuff to like help me feel just a little bit less overwhelmed. Um, it's hard. I like, you know, my nerves are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't believe I'm doing this right now. And like I get flustered, I get very like emotional, and my heart starts racing. I'll turn beet red, and a lot of times I'll cry. So like, I get very, very, very emotional, and like to avoid that discomfort, I just try to avoid it. And I'll be like, okay, you know, and instead of being able to like stick up for myself and actually stick to what it is that I'm trying to get across, I'll be like, okay, you know, I can feel the redness, and I can feel my heartbeat, and I can feel my hands getting sweaty, and I can feel like I'm gonna cry. Oh no, okay. So I back off, and I never get a chance to like actually feel accomplished and like getting my voice across and getting my point across. That has been something that I have a challenge with, and I sort of suck at. However, I have been progressively trying to challenge myself, that when I start to feel like that, I remind myself it's just a feeling. But I'm going to feel worse if I don't get what it is that I'm trying to say across. And I'm still going to be stuck in this like mud of like trying to get myself out of that. And always continuing to feel like that weight on my shoulders. Like I can't get my voice out there, and I can't speak up for myself, and I can't get my point across. And it's still a work in progress because I'm still not great at it. But it's okay, because I think that we all have to do some soul searching, and I think we all have to do some self-reflection. And I think that this is actually a really, really great prompt. I think this is a good prompt, and I actually encourage anybody else who wants to take this challenge to write down, and Gary Vee didn't say like write 10 things that you suck at. He just said, and I'll post the video of what, or I'll share the video or whatever I have to do with it, that basically states exactly what I'm doing. He was like, I encourage you to sit down and, you know, look at the camera and tell the world, what do I suck at? And I decided to take it sort of to another level and write 10 things I suck at and 10 things I have a hard time with. And it's actually really interesting what you can come up with. And it's kind of funny because a lot of them, like when I'm talking about them, I'm like, wow, they actually all sort of tie in together. So it's interesting. I like this prompt. So I encourage anybody else who wants to do some self-reflection and then share with everybody. This is weird. And I might even just delete this, and I might have just spent 38 or so minutes just talking to a camera and wasting time. I think I'm going to encourage myself to post it, because I don't want to just have wasted 38 minutes of my time sitting here talking to myself and then deleting it, because I'm so good at that. I'm so good at just doing something and having good intentions and then just being like, nope, that's uncomfortable. I'm not going to do that. And I'm just going to not, and I'm going to delete it, and I'm going to not think, oh, I'm not going to think about it again, because then I am going to think about it this whole time. And I'm going to be like, man, I should have done that. And again, like I said with jewelry, all these years later, what could have happened? Like, what could have come out of that if I just decided to stick with it? What could have come out of me blogging? I probably could have written a book by now, multiple books by now, because I probably would have learned some stuff along the way. So I'm not going to delete this video. I am going to post this video. I'm not going to edit it because I don't like editing anyway. And I'm going to post this video. And if all I get out of it is some self-reflection, then I think it was well worth it. So anyway, bye.